You're out
watching Tron Legacy
with your pals the other day.
What's up, you bunch of beautiful clucks? We're gonna change the format a bit because I'm still new at this, so why not? Plus, I just came off with 3 shots and a plate of nachos.
I just had sex and I'm about to eat nachos! It's the greatest moment of my life!
And I'm filled with bolstering rage. Now sit down, shut up, subscribe and tell your friends about me, and let me talk to you about a critically underrated movie known as Tron Legacy. No, not that one. There we go. This is Tron. This is Tron. I'm sorry. Did you just say Tron Legacy was a good movie? Yeah. Get back on your side of the room. Get back on your side of the room. I'm tired of your bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll leave. Sorry about that, folks. If it isn't clear already, I think I'm stuck in purgatory. He's my roommate, for all that matters. We'll get there later. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, The Grid. A digital frontier. A creation unlike any other. While also having more exposition than the prequels, so be ready for a wordy masterpiece. It's 1989. We're a father, the creator of Tron, aka freaking Daddy Jeff Bridges, is talking to his son about his adventures in the game. Something that isn't super clear immediately is that this movie is actually a sequel to the original Tron of the 80s. Anyway, father is talking to his son about his adventures and creations, one of which being a program called Clue and the other Tron. Remember the name Clue. It's on the test later. Clue and Tron and the kid's dad create a program together known as The Grid. One day a quote-unquote miracle happened, but the story is cut short as the father has to leave, promising to meet his son at the arcade the next day before riding off on his bike.
Hey, what do you say? Tomorrow, you and I hit the arcade. You can have a crack at the old man's high score. First game's on me.
It cuts to a TV broadcast of Flynn. I think his dad's name like Keith or Kenny or, I don't know, some weird name like that, but honestly that's kind of a lame name, so Flynn's what it's gonna be. He's disappeared. They give some info on how his company Incom was successful, Sam's mother passed away, and how Flynn became an obsessive person because of it. I should also point out how this movie was one of the first to use that de-aging thing. Oh, maybe not the first, but fuck, it's bizarre. Like, when it's still, it kind of looks pretty okay, but as it moves, it reminds me of those, what's that soul scene from the first Scooby-Doo movie? You know, when they all got their souls trapped in that big pit thing? Kind of reminds me of that. It's weird. Anywho, Sam runs away when his father doesn't show up, and it cuts to the future with a man, totally not Sam, on a bike running from the cops as he bobs and weaves through traffic, pulling off a kind of dumb trick to lose the cop tailing him, which works by some feat. Cut to a meeting for Incom, Flynn's company. Cut back to the man sneaking through a building now, using a laser pointer to blind a camera, I guess. I'm not doing this movie justice. I'm sorry. Just bear with me. Corpo business meeting is off doing whatever bad guy corpos do, discussing how they're doing something with Tokyo and an operating system, while the man is doing his best Splinter Cell impersonation, minus the assassination. But oh no, he trips a laser wire, alerting the guard at the front desk. Guard confronts the man as he hacks into what I assume are probably servers, only to vanish as the guard comes around the corner. Back in the board meeting, head honcho man goes to present and release some sort of new operating system, only to be met with a video of a little Frenchie dog. And then panic! This is why you can't trust PowerPoint, people. Cue business people freaking out, trying to turn the dog off and fix it. Sneaky hacker man for the win, releasing the new operating system for free. Woo! And then we never hear from these guys again. Like, seriously? The intro to this movie is horrible. I don't care for it. However, this is the point where I want to point out that this movie's soundtrack is really good. A lot of it being made by Daft Punk, and come on, who doesn't love Daft... they broke up? Oh. Man, that's really upsetting. Alright, moving on, I guess. If I may, Daft Punk was really a testament to their time. I mean, yeah, they broke up, but they left us with so many good things. Go back to your side of the room, please. If I have to tell you again, I'm kicking you. Again. Now go. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll go sit over here now and watch you do your little whatever it is you're doing. I really can't stand him. Anyway, the guard confronts the man on the top of the tower he broke into, where, surprise, surprise, the sneaky hacker man is really Sam Flynn, the little kid from the beginning. He's also the largest shareholder in Incom. Double whammy. Then whoop, Sam jumps off the tower. Lucky him, he had a working parachute and flies off happily in the distance. Only to get caught on a light pole. And then by the police. Crime doesn't pay, kids. Oh wait, he got... Oh, I guess we wouldn't have a movie unless he got released. So, maybe crime does pay? Now back at home, a garage. We see the little Frenchie from the video is actually his dog Marv. This isn't important, I just like the dog, and he's the best character in the entire movie. Turns out Alan, a dude who took care of Sam as a kid, still rocks a pager too, so like, I guess he's a drug dealer on the side or something? I don't know. He gives Sam a set of keys to the old arcade he was meant to meet his dad at years ago. Marv barks at him to go, and so he does. It's a lot of pointless buildup, but I had to sit through it, so you know what? You guys have to as well. Haha. Sam is now in the arcade, and honestly, what an entrance. The flash of neon lights and a killer song I don't think I'm gonna play because of copyright reasons, but we'll see. All with a thin layer of dust and covers, showing how old this arcade really is. Sam finds his way to the Tron game only to find a secret door behind it, leading him to his father's lab as the door closes behind him. He screws the old dust-covered computer, all while a laser behind him begins to whir with life. And then boom. Frickin' finally! God, 20 minutes later and now we're just finally getting to the digital world. Holy crap, okay. At least it ramps up a bit from here. Sam is now digitalized into the grid, running the streets in fear before being picked up by... a Tetris block? It's called a recognizer, which is a really dumb name, so I'm still just gonna refer to it as a Tetris block. He begins to be referred to as a diskless program and a stray. This is on the test later, remember this. It's really not. As they fly off, we see the city and the world around now. It's dark and stormy, yet vibrant and breathtaking. A dystopian cyber city that light pops and seems rather inviting. This is what I love about the movie. The visual presence and the sound design. It's just so good. Flynn and the other assumed captors are dropped off, all seeming in fear as they are ushered to death or the games. Flynn is dropped on an elevator to a room where he is suited up by 4 very determined-looking women. He is also given something called an identity disc, which is exactly what it sounds like, before being pushed off into the games, where we see other contenders waiting for their turns in the Disc Wars. Flynn, who's admittedly rather confused, gets into his first fight, where he pretty much gets his ass kicked until he takes out the floor in front of him by like some mystical, magical feat, and causing his opponent to fall to his death. It's a really bad way to go, folks. Anyway, Flynn's next fight sees him handedly winning before making an attempt at an escape, failing as he is forcibly placed into the final round against Rensler. The crowd cheers, and the fear-stricken Sam plays the defensive, avoiding every disc thrown his way. Clearly outmatched by the red enemy, he is handedly taken out, before Rensler sees blood and claims user. This is important later. Anyway, the Overseer calls out realizing that Sam is not actually a program, and asks for him to be brought up. Uh-oh, plot twist, the Overseer is his father. Not having aged a day. They have a chit-chat and Flynn comes off as rather evil. Then, uh-oh, another plot twist. This man isn't his father. Now I'll give you 20 seconds to guess who this is. A, Clue. B, Tron. Or C, a doppelganger from Dungeons & Dragons. If you guessed A, then you'd be correct. Congratulations for being such a good guesser. If you guessed C, then go back to your TTRPG and finish making your character. I'm sure your DM is very disappointed in you. Moving on, Sam gets taken away, and we see more of the beautiful display of the visuals as a celebration seems to be going on with fireworks around a beautiful area. Turns out it's a celebration that the user is in the game, or rather a celebration for what's going to happen to the user. As the crowd begins to boo once Sam is brought up, Clue walks out in battle attire, where both him and Sam are presented sticks, which Sam understandably mistakes for a weapon and tries to, lightsaber his way out of this. I really don't know what to call this. He pretty much gets made fun of by the dude who's apparently called Jarvis. Weird. Turns out it's a light cycle battle. Luckily, Sam is a motorcyclist. What follows is honestly rather slow for my taste, yet it's a pretty tense battle between the Reds and Blues. No, not those reds and blues. That's a later video. These ones. Close enough, I guess. Anyway, the teams are picked off one by one, with the Reds seeming to still hold an advantage. Sam is kicked off his bike, yet still lives, preparing to fight off an approaching enemy with his laser disc, when suddenly, this badass four-wheeler thing crashes in and kills the red guy, and drives away with Sam in tow as they're chased by the other red guys. The four-wheeler, which I've also discovered is called a light runner, quickly dispatches them with hard light and bombs before making an explosive getaway. Turns out his savior was named Cora. Cora? I'm just gonna go with Cora. I think that's how they say it in the movie. Anyway, she takes Sam to his real dad, Kevin. Yeah, that's his name. I'm never calling him that again. We're sticking with Flynn. In a bit of a heartbreaking reunion, as we see aged Flynn in tears as he hugs his son, who is also very broken up. Both seem fully in shock as they talk about what has happened and what has led them to this point, before Flynn walks away and wistfully looks off in the distance, leaving Cora and Sam to talk amongst themselves. We learn here that Cora is also Flynn's apprentice. Later on, we also learn she's the last ISO alive, but we'll get to that later. Cue a very tense dinner with Flynn, Sam, and Cora. They have a meaningless chit-chat before the real question pops up. What happened to Flynn? Cue the heavy exposition time. Apparently Tron was created by Alan. The dude Tron, not the game. Well, I guess the game, it doesn't really matter. The man from earlier with the pager. Tron was a program brought from the old system, while Clue was created by Flynn for the new one. Tron being built to protect, while Clue was built to make a perfect system. This is important for later. This is actually important for later, so, keep that in mind. We now find out what that miracle from earlier was. The ISOs. Isomorphic organisms. Say that 5 times fast. Things that came into being in the grid as time went on. They were these new, impressionable AI? I'm gonna call them AI because I don't really feel like trying to find a better name, so, go with it. Then, as the story goes, Clue happened. He staged a coup. He was corrupted and killed Tron. Flynn fought back and lost, destroying the ISOs he saw as an imperfection, trapping Flynn in the grid and forcing him into hiding. Turns out that Flynn's disc is also the MacGuffin of the movie. Clue needs it to truly create a perfect world, which means getting rid of all the humans. Turns out that the page Flynn sent was actually from Clue, who wanted to bait Flynn into coming out of hiding. Flynn wants to hide while his son wants to fight. Okay, it's not super complicated, but that's a lot of exposition to have. Anyway, Sam and Cora have a conversation about fighting back later on, where Cora gives him a lead on a program named Zeus, spelled Z-U-S-E, who wants to help the ISOs in their rebellion, and Sam takes off to find him, taking Flynn's OG light cycle in the process. On his journey, we get further glimpses of the true dystopian society under Clue's rule, while with Reds forcing programs out of their home, with others living on the streets. Sam ends up running into one of the women we saw earlier, and we find out her name is Jim. She's one of the ones who helped suit him up, and now she's teaming up to help him on his mighty quest, while Flynn and Cura are prepared to come out of hiding. And cue the nightclub. The small insight in a high society when we see Daft Punk as the DJs and meet Castor, who is totally not Zeus. The man they need to get through to meet Zeus. We see him talking with a few programs about a possible resistance quickly being cut off as Sam walks up. You can really tell that Michael Sheen is having a blast playing this flamboyant character, by the way. I don't know why I'm pointing him out specifically, but I kind of like him. Anyway, moving on. We find out that, surprise, surprise, Castor is Zeus. Who'd have thought? They do some talking before a hit squad of Reds jumps out of the sky and into the nightclub, killing some really poor program in the process. I mean, look at that. That is just a horrible way to die. Now comes probably my favorite scene in this entire movie. Sam versus the hit squad, while Daft Punk plays jams in the back to fit what's going on. Turns out Castor is a bad guy, I think. Yep, Sam is quickly surrounded, and then Cura comes out of nowhere to take out the baddies. Woo, excitement. Oh yeah, some of the Resistance people from earlier are there too, but they're not really doing great, so doesn't really matter. Cura is taken out, her arm being, I guess, chopped off. That's a good way to put it. But another surprise. Flynn the OG joins the fight. Zeus, Castor, whatever his name is, makes an escape as Sam and gang do too. Flynn's disc is captured in the process just as they're leaving by a Red, but another twist. Castor kills the Red and takes it for himself. So many plot twists coming out of nowhere. I'm really being blindsided here, guys. As the elevator quickly descends, Cura seems to be lifeless and the boys argue about what just happened. Again. Here we see more of Jeff Bridges basically being the dude from The Big Lebowski, but like, smart. It keeps throwing me off, but it's okay. We like Daddy Jeff Bridges around here.
Same thing, man.
Another plan, this time Sam's way.
You ever jump a freight train?
And it's full tilt this time. Beat Clue to the exit portal. Along the way, Flynn tries to repair Cura, where it's revealed she's the last ISO left. They end up repairing her while Sam and Flynn have a talk about what's been going on in the outside world. It's so heart-touching. Meanwhile, Zeus and Clue are having a conversation. Zeus wants compensation for the stolen disc. He hands it over and he takes a drink Clue gives him as they discuss alliance. Clue begins to walk out and his goons blow up the place, killing Castor and Jim. Oh no, they will be sorely missed. And now more exposition. Holy shit, this movie has a lot of exposition. Turns out a program helped Cura escape after the ISO purge, which feels really wrong to say. But she was overrun. Just as they're about to lose faith, Flynn was there, the creator she calls him, giving insight into what most non-corrupt programs see Flynn as. We also learn that Cura is obsessed with seeing the sunrise. It's what she dreams of seeing. This is important. Okay. Sorry. The gang finds out that Clue isn't really killing programs. Since he is unable to create new ones, he repurposes the old, building an army of corrupted programming. Cura goes to sacrifice herself, where she is quickly captured by Rinsler, who we find out is actually Tron. Ooh. Clue gives a little bad guy speech to his army, bad-mouthing Flynn and revealing his plan to basically take over the real world. Sam and Flynn split up with a plan after a little spat about what exactly they wanted to do, while Clue still gives his little speech on the perfect world. God, I feel like there's a lot of ties to some really big historical figure that we're all just gonna like not talk about here. But I just had to make that little bit of a parallel. Just saying. Flynn then finds a ride while Salmon goes and rescues Cura. Holy crap! I cannot say this girl's name. Anyway, Flynn bonks a program on the head, beating it into submission while Sam grabs Flynn's disc and battles Tron, knocking him out and rescuing Cura as they jump out of the tower and land on the ride Flynn acquired. But oh no, Tron isn't dead, and he gets up and tails after them. And here we go, the final stretch. The gang takes flight, leaving the ship they are in and heading towards the portal. Clue and his crew take flight in his little interceptor things. Sam takes the turn of the craft that they're in and guns down the interceptors chasing them. More Flynn the Dude talk. Then an Iron Man high-flying scene that ends up taking out another goon. But suddenly Tron takes out one of the guns of the craft the gang's in, before he can be taken out himself. Tron then fights his reprogramming and pulls out of the fight, leaving Clue to knock out the gang's plane. Tron comes back in, fighting his programming, and takes out Clue's interceptor.
Fight for the users.
Woohoo! That's definitely the last we'll see of him. No, we still have 20 minutes left? Okay. Clue and Tron are falling through the sky and collide. Clue wins the scuffle and takes the interceptor, leaving Tron to die in the ocean as his red turns to bluish white. The good guy color. The gang lands at the portal, hopping out and running up in a moment of triumph and victory. But wait, Clue beat them to it, standing between them and victory. This guy really just won't die, will he? Flynn steps forward as the two have a back and forth. Clue wasn't really evil, we find out. He was mostly just misguided into perfection, understanding perfection from a machine's perspective and not a human's. Clue kicks Flynn as the Sam runs to fight, handily getting his ass kicked as Cura steps in. Clue turns back to face Flynn as the pair head to the portal. Taking Flynn's disc, he realizes he was duped. Back on the ship, Cura and Flynn had really actually traded discs. Flynn sacrifices himself for his son to save the world, but more importantly, his son. Sam, now back in the real world, discovers the drive containing the grid, shutting down the equipment running it and all. He meets Alan up top. Sam makes Alan the chairman of the board and says he's taking the company back again. He walks out, and it turns out Cura came with him. They ride off, just as the sun begins to rise. Cura staring in amazement as she holds on to Sam riding it wherever they're going. And that's it. The credits roll with a banger of a song. Tron Legacy is bizarre. On one hand, the movie is so beautiful, the atmosphere and the sound really hammering it home, while the story is kind of at best. Personally, I really love it. The ending also gave slight hints to a possible sequel. Actually, about that. This movie originally came out in 2013, and it bombed pretty bad, all things considered, which led Disney to be rather apprehensive of making a sequel. Originally, one was supposed to come out in 2022 with Jared Leto as the main character. Yeah, that guy. So, honestly, I don't know if it was really meant to be a sequel or just a retelling, but as far as I can tell, it has been in development hell, and all things considered, it's probably been canceled. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Tron. Aside from a couple of mediocre games at best and an animated series that lasted all of about one season, that's it. Which really sucks, because the idea of Tron is really cool. The digital dystopian punk setting is something I enjoy, and I think a lot of people who are into things like cyberpunk or synthwave music would really enjoy. But anyway, let me know what you think of the movie, or franchise as a whole. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it ultimately trash? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe too. And hey, thanks for joining me on the synopsis. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.